Merry Christmas, everybody.
I hate that I remember. I wish I could forget what you did last December.
Hello, my beautiful people, and welcome to another 12 days of Christmas video. Today, I'm showing you guys my sourdough success, but also my sourdough failure. Stubborn. So I had to put her in the oven with the light on for a little bit. She rose a little bit, but not as much as her counterpart, but it's fine. So I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a person that likes to fail. I completely believe in myself. Like, this is my toxic trait, right? I believe I can do everything and get it right on the first try. That's my red flag. So when I started these two recipes, I went fully in, gung-ho, prepared to 100% succeed. I was following a recipe from a lovely lady who has a blog post, and she also makes YouTube videos. The name of her channel and blog post is Farmhouse on Boone, and I've been watching her throughout the entirety of my sourdough life. And so I've been using her recipes, her videos, just following her. And so I used her for this cinnamon dough roll recipe and also sourdough croissants. Going into this process, I knew that croissants were not the easiest thing. They are not easy. They are not foolproof. But I've been wanting to make croissants all this year. I've been desperate to try it. And so I just figured I have to start her. There's a recipe online for it. Why not give it a go? First of all, I'm so grateful that I started out with the cinnamon roll recipe, because this was my lifeline. Like, this was my savior. And even still, I made a few adjustments to her recipe. So like, I added vanilla to the dough. She didn't really have vanilla to her dough. I added almond milk because I don't eat dairy, so I didn't want to use regular dairy milk. And it turned out fine. It was delicious. They were soft and moist, and they stayed soft even after they cooled down, and I had to reheat them the next day. They were soft ever after. They were delicious. But the croissants, I followed her recipe, and I think because of where I live and just like the weather here, I have to make a lot of changes to the croissant recipe. I'm not a quitter. I'm going to try it again. I'm just doing it now, knowing that I didn't get it right the first time. I might not get it right the second time, and I'm going to make my own personal adjustments. But the cinnamon roll recipe dough thing was so much fun. I enjoyed it so much. If I were to change anything about what I did, I would probably try to roll my dough out just a little thinner so that I can get more dough and like a prettier swirl in the middle. The swirl was fine, but it definitely could have been prettier. So here I'm just using a knife to score the top of my log, just to make sure that I can get kind of even slices. And then I'm going to use some floss to slice the cinnamon rolls. The floss method really does work nicely. Using a knife will just flatten out your rolls, and then you have to go in and kind of reshape them and reform them back into a nice circle. So I would 100% recommend using the floss method. For the frosting, I once again loosely followed her recipe. I really wanted to do my own thing, put my own spin on it. So it has the same ingredients as her recipe, but just different quantities and different proportions. But what I really liked about my cinnamon roll icing on top also is just that they worked really well together. One wasn't sweeter than the other. The sourdough taste really goes really well with these cinnamon rolls, because it's like the sweet and the sour, they kind of match each other and they just work out really well. It was super delicious. So next we're going to move on to my fail. All right, moving on to this croissant dough. So starting off, the dough itself was good. The dough came together really well and it was good to go. The first thing I think I should have changed was the amount of butter used. So this recipe called for 1.5 cups of butter. I think I should have only used 1 cup of butter. That would have been more than enough. And then I was trying to combine some aspects of the Farmhouse on Bone recipe with something I saw online where a lady added some flour to her butter to just make it easier to smooth onto the dough instead of working it into the dough. And so I only added like 2 pinches of flour. What I should have added was like 1/4 cup of flour to the butter to just try and use her method. So going over it again, I will use less butter, add more flour into the butter, and I need to get better with timing the temperatures of my doughs and my butter. At one point, I think my butter was colder than my dough, and so when I went to do the laminating process, I could actually see the butter breaking up into the dough. So I need to get better about matching those temperatures moving forward as well. I wish I took more pictures and like videos of the actual end product. They weren't terrible. I did use them to make like croissant breakfast sandwiches, so they didn't go to waste and they were edible. But the next time I try this video, this recipe, I will definitely show you guys my step-by-step process. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing my sourdough success and failure. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already so that you don't miss another 12 days of Christmas video, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.